Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Stephanie. I'm Stephanie Buckland, your host, and I'm very, very excited and delighted to be interviewing my friend and colleague, Niki Shields, today. Hi, Niki. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I feel very
I'm so
grateful to
excited.
be on here. Yes, me too.
Yay! Yes! You are totally so much my soul sister. I love what you're up to in the world. So I cannot
Thank
wait to dive
you.
into this conversation.
Yes.
I would love for you to give our audience an introduction of who you are, what kind of work you're doing, and what kind of magic shows up in the world as a result.
Right. Wow, that's a big loaded question, right? So my name is Niki Shields, and I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona, and I currently reside in Prescott. I've lived up here now for about 7 years, and I was actually led intuitively to move here to offer my work to the community. So I kind of just made that happen, and it's been lovely making the change up here. I love being in the trees and the cooler weather. And they have like little lakes that are fun. I love to hike and kayak. So it's perfect for me.
That
And
is
so,
fantastic.
yes. So I really enjoy living up here. I'm actually a single parent. And I have a child that just turned 11. So he's actually at his first all day and night camp this week. So it's been
Oh,
interesting to have him be away and think about him like all the time.
yeah,
But
for
I know
sure,
he's
for sure.
having a great experience. So yes, so I just really have felt completely just so excited over 20 years ago, believe it or not. I was actually in a home in Anthem, which is right outside of Phoenix. And I remember it was near the desert. And I remember just like praying to God, like, can you please bring my first teacher, like someone into my life? I feel different. At this point, I was working for corporations, burning the candle at both ends, and would sit in the lunchroom and would daydream about being a life coach. And just prayed for my first teacher to come into my life to show me why I felt so different. Not like a black sheep or anything, but just, there's got to be more to life, I would say, than this. I'm ready. It's time. Please show up. And then shortly after that, maybe a month or two after, my first teacher came into my life.
Awesome, awesome. So what do you think was your initial reason for getting into what you're up to now?
Right. I think it was that internal clock or that internal like knowing. It was like my spirit, my soul was like I said, out to the, desert. There's got to be more to life than just working and
Yes.
partying and dancing all night and all these wonderful life things that I was able to experience at a very young age. And it, like I said, it was a stirring.
Yeah.
And, I didn't, it was more of a curiosity than like an anxiousness, right? I was more curious. And it was like literally, I just saw a light switch. It was literally like a light switch came on within me. And then from there, I guess energetically things started to move into motion. And then, my first realization that, perhaps I had gifts that I didn't know that I had. My first teacher would put crystals in my hands, and they couldn't do that. They couldn't channel into crystals. And we would spend literally days off all day, and I would just channel crystals. And so I was very much aware of my body and I was very aware of my environment, but I was
Uh-huh.
like seeing things in my vision, which I will call my third eye, like a slow movie screen, which appeared to be at the time of a past life, like all the, without really knowing what I was seeing. And then eventually, I believe I had some other work that maybe let me know that, oh, I did have a past life in Egypt and in Atlantis. But I didn't know that because I was seeing Egypt like an actual temple with a light shining out of the top at the time. And then from there, I was in a 3 year, not just a weekend or a week Reiki program, but a 3 year Reiki program. And then
Wow.
because I lived so close to the desert, I wish I could remember how I did it, but I would sit on the ground and I would do what was called like a Merkaba tuning, like every day. I committed to do that for like 3 months, as well as being in this Reiki program. So I
Wow.
was really happy. I felt very content. I felt more open. My teacher did an exercise on me where they looked at me like I was a house and all my windows and doors were open. And then they like helped me close them. And it almost like put them on their bottom when they helped me to close it because I was so open. And I was like, no wonder why I'm so exhausted all the time because I'm just like all my energy was just blasted open. And so I
Yeah.
just really learned those basics, how to protect your energy with the bubble and all these little 101 steps that I was taught at that time. I always worked with a lot of people. And then, like I said, I would dance too all the time, dance all night long. And I just remember like I love sleeping. It was really good for me to sleep a lot. And now I know why, but I'm still a sleeper. But anyway, so that's just kind of how it began. And then um and I love doing Reiki shares and I just thought that was so cool. And
Mm-hmm.
then I met like this kind of spiritual family in the Phoenix area, and we'd go out to the rocks. And I don't know if it was near Phoenix because we could see downtown Phoenix. And then we would do like healing work to the Phoenix downtown area. So that was super cool on some rocks. So I saw a lot of really cool things and learned a lot of really cool things. But also along my journey, not so much with that group, but people that would just come around every once in a while. I learned that that's not who I want to be around. And no, they say that they're this, but they're that. So I really learned about ego of others who thought that they were all that and a bag of, you know what, but they were not.
Right.
And, certain, teachers would come in and you would respect them, but you're like, ego. And then there would be other people that just were no good. And so it was really good for me to see that pretty quickly because
Yeah.
there's a lot of really great light workers and awakened people out there, but there's a lot of ego and there's also a lot of people that just, are faking it till they make it, we'll just say. So that's just kind of my experience during that time. And then I remember meeting another teacher who lived in Texas, and he would gather all of these beautiful people from all over the world. And usually we would go to a place that was just supercharged energetically. And he worked a lot with the archangels. So
Mm-hmm.
Archangel Michael and Raphael and all of them. And we would do just this oneness like workshop with singing and like speakers and you name it. And then at the end, he would put us in formation, like with each other in this big ballroom, or it would be outside, and we would hold hands, and then we would literally do this like huge like prayer and healing for the planet. And I
Mm-hmm.
kid you not, I lived for those moments. I was like, now this is where I belong in these monumental, the more the merrier. We're getting the healing throughout the whole thing, but we're also just, like I said, it's like one spirit, one love, one heartbeat, right? And so
Yes.
when I experienced those moments, I truly felt alive. I felt blissful, happy. I felt free. My spirit felt free. And, this was like over 15 years ago. So I've come a long way. But gosh, what a moment, those were that I was so blessed to have. Essentially,
Yeah.
you had to become what is called like a gathered master. And then you would have like a color associated to your spirit, and it's called a church and all these other things. And then you gather with the others that are of the opposite, colors and churches. And yeah, it was beautiful.
Wow.
And gosh, And then from there, I received my first Tibetan bowl. And I was like, what is this thing? And I just loved the way it sounded. And then with one of my teachers, we would get a Tibetan bowl and we'd put it over our heads. And then we just like start hitting it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my brain is so happy. And oh, I just love that. And I just was obsessed, like literally. It was like my best friend. And then from there, I received my first set of chakra tuning forks that literally, when struck on a mallet and you place them on your body, it instantly opens up and balances your energy centers.
Wow.
And then I
Yeah.
learned not only do we just have the seven, as you know, but we have two upper ones and two lower ones. And I was like, whoa, I
Mhm.
didn't know that. There's, the alpha, the Terra. Yeah. So anyway, there was all of these other things. So it was just so much fun. And I could do it on myself every day. And it took like no time. And then I instantly just felt like lighter. My eyes felt like brighter, when I was looking at colors and stuff.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah.
Sounds like it's been quite a journey, and actually, I had a similar experience with oneness. There was an experience in California. I was trained on the Diksha oneness giver process, which I had no idea what it was when I went into it. And I was like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. It's basically bringing God's light and love into your body, just like Reiki. But that was before my Reiki training
Yeah.
and very interesting. And then later on, I met this woman who does pranic healing, and she was hosting these oneness meta meditations.
Mm.
And I still to this day will post things on Facebook about, and it's usually on a Wednesday, a meta
Mm-hmm.
meditation.
Nice.
And it's something that I channel about oneness and our connections and our connection to spirit and creator and how we're totally connected to the planet and we're sending out love and light to the whole planet and everyone can heal.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so we
love
do
it.
this.
Yes.
I love the meta meditations. I think they're so powerful,
Yes.
and there is actually science behind it that when groups of people get together and meditate, that there is power in that space.
Oh,
There's power
absolutely.
whereby like vibrational energy around that city will shift.
Mm-hmm.
Less crime will happen, less domestic violence will happen, less
Absolutely.
arguments. Like it will actually be more peaceful in that city for a time. And
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that this is something, it's a solution for humanity to continue to do these meta prayers and send out love and light to everyone. So that's fantastic that you're
Absolutely.
doing that. I'd love to collaborate with you on those
Yes.
later,
Yes.
like later.
Yes.
But
So
meanwhile,
yeah, so
yeah.
everything that you're saying, I also do exactly what you just stated. I've been able to do that for roughly around 17 years of being a part of sound meditation, also known as sound therapy. Like I
Wow.
also am able to do that in front of like a group of people. It helps them individually, but collectively, but also because I've done it so long and playing, gongs and Tibetan bowls and singing bowls and chimes and all these are different arrays of instruments. I'm also projecting out into the planet, into the earth, into the city, like harmonization, balancing, love. And it's just so beautiful. So I believe that there are so many different things out in the world, but I definitely believe the more the merrier, when, the creator says, when two or more gather, like anything is possible at that point. So,
Yes, the power is
um,
amplified, our energy is amplified. I think it's
yeah,
amazing.
yes,
So you were starting to step into your gifts. So I'd love to hear about your clairs because we all have like specific clairs in this psychic realm, right?
right.
Um, did you establish exactly what your clairs are?
I actually, believe it or not, I've never heard that term.
Ah, no kidding. Okay, let me
I
see. So I mean, I'm
was
clairvoyant,
like, oh, thank you.
clairvoyant,
Okay. Yeah.
clairaudient,
Yes.
clairsentient, claircognizant,
Yes.
and these are all different skills. So clairvoyance is the ability to see, which I think you
Yes.
have. because
Yes.
you've been able to see.
Yes.
Clairaudience is the ability to hear.
And I have
You
that too.
hear it. Claircognizant is just an inner knowing, like premonitions are like a
Yes.
claircognizant, but also when we bring in light from other beings, we understand what they're speaking to
Yes.
us. That's also
Yes.
claircognizant. And then clairsentience is the ability to feel their
Right.
energy. So when they're
Right.
in your presence, you feel them present.
Yes.
I've had these experiences that started with clairsentience
Mm-hmm.
and then clairaudience
Mm-hmm.
and then claircognizance.
Yeah.
And finally, it was my Reiki teacher who said, if you've got three clairs, that also makes you clairvoyant. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, okay. So these are my
Yeah.
clairs. That's cool.
So
So,
I have heard of that before. I'm a very simple girl, and so I just tell people I can see, I hear, and I feel, and I know.
yeah,
I just like round it up like in a very
see
simple.
that. I knew it. I knew it.
So
This is why we're talking.
yes. But but this wasn't always. So I just want to make sure that the audience knows it's like a muscle, right? Like the pineal
Yeah.
gland is in the center of the brain that's
Mm-hmm.
connected with your intuition, right? The more you use it, the stronger it grows.
Yes.
So I did
Exactly.
not, I wouldn't say, maybe I do believe that I've always had the gifts, but I had to grow and develop them like a muscle
Oh, yes, me too.
throughout the
Definitely.
many years. And
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you, playing the instruments, and it was just several years ago, I thought, oh, it's just helping the people and the environment and the earth, excuse me, the earth and the land. But I realized that, oh my gosh, this is helping me. I actually feel better. And so I think doing
Yeah.
the sound as long as I have, that has really obviously raised my vibration, right? And sound is very scientifical as well. But also, I feel like it has allowed me to develop my gifts in baby steps. So I couldn't really
Yes.
tell you like, oh, 5 years ago this happened and 2 years ago this happened. No,
Yeah, me
it
either.
all just it all just kind of happened. And
Yeah.
so I feel like if I could really pinpoint it, now you have me thinking, like, what was my first one? I believe, well, no, because I would receive for 9 years from other master teachers for 9 years, and then I have been playing the rest with the sound. And I remember seeing and hearing, and I knew whatever that was real. And
Yeah.
that was it. I unfortunately did not journal at the time. I mean, I would see my future. I spoke to my son's soul before he was even born, so I knew I was going to have a
Wow.
boy. I saw myself playing for people one day. I mean, it was like mind blowing, literally. And it definitely chipped away and opened me up to a whole other level of understanding like the world and the planet and energy and myself. And so
Yeah.
truly was one of the best gifts that I ever was a part of and still am to this day because it has changed my life so much. I mean, I remember like laying on this mat and just feeling awful sometimes, like almost like a rock. But I knew that it was working because I knew I was just releasing, right? Letting go of
Yeah.
like all these energies, right? Because I used to be in corporate, like catering and all that, and hundreds of people and parties and music and just all of that. Would work 15 hours a day, shove food in your mouth for like maybe 3 minutes if you're lucky. And so that's really exhausting when you think about it. So, um,
Mm.
so I did all these other things. And then when I experienced that sound meditation, I was like, whoa. And then from there, I would always say that I want to work with the best of the best. I would drive up to Prescott and I had a session called Body and Emotion Code. And I was like, whoa, this is fantastic. And oh my gosh, I have done what you offer, the records. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
diving into the records as well. This again, all of this I've done over 10 years ago. Um, I have worked with a lady. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. I don't even know if she knows what it's called, but it's done virtually, and you do a lot of the healing work in the planet and the asteroids, out in the space.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty incredible and very powerful. Um, I um, always like did like Reiki, but I would always include like in a private session tuning forks, Reiki, and sound, like a tree. I call it the trio healing package.
Mm.
Um, and people loved it because it's just power packed into one,
Yeah.
session.
Oh,
You get
yeah.
all these things, and then I'm so intuitive, all these messages would come after. So it's like I always, definitely over, like I just really gave them everything. So, and people loved it and still do. And and the sound has really taken me far in life. But I want to share with you that just 2 days ago, like literally, I was doing a soul prayers, connecting with the creator, soul prayers on myself. I have been searching for a daily practice, and it's been really challenging for me to find the time and to figure out what to do, like meditation wise. I'll be honest with you, it's not super easy for me to meditate with silence. I can for a short time, but if there's like sound or like a guided meditation, I can sit there for like hours. But just in pure silence, I'm like, even for me, it's tricky, right? So the soul prayers is like a guided meditation with music in the background. And I got this realization at the very end of the prayers meditation that everything that I have done, participated in, been a part of in the Prescott area with sound for 7 years is ending.
Wow.
So, like, I'm not teaching group classes at the park. I'm not going to be teaching in studios. After speaking to a wonderful friend, because for a moment I kind of had a little bit of a panic attack. I got sad because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. This is like, what do you mean I have to go sell my instruments? No, that's not happening. Like, this is my life and I love it deeply. And she said, Nikki, look at it differently. You're meant to just um, stop doing all of that because you need to think bigger. You need to think,
Ooh.
I am going to create like 3 to 4 sound concerts a year. So whether if that's just myself or being with another person, another, teacher practitioner, or 3 of us, but make it like super concert, like life changing experience. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, now I get that. Because I've been feeling like I needed to put on a concert here in Prescott, like with like tons of sound meditation practitioners and be a part of that. But so anyway, it just looks differently. So my point is perspective is the key. Because, like I
Yes.
said, for a minute, I actually almost started to cry on the phone with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm feeling it too. And I shared it with her that I feel like it's like not stopping, but it's like slowing down. Because another point is that when we have all these different careers and opportunities, I have like, all these different things that I'm interested in, that takes up your energy and focus.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what I've realized is I have to let it go completely, which is still not easy because I'm only on day 3 and I'm like, how? But it will then create this space so I can focus on building these concerts, right? Because that
Mm-hmm.
takes time and energy. But also, it has me check into where my heart is right now. And my heart is completely full in sharing what connecting to the creator soul prayers is with the world. And in order to be able to do that like effectively, it's like I almost have to just focus all of my energy on it. So I share that with you
Yes.
because I know you already know this, but I thought, I'm like a freaking Wonder Woman. I got it. I can do it all. But I've learned over time that when you're having too much going on, it like slows down the process of what you're truly meant to do.
Definitely kind of like scatters your spirit so much that it's hard to stay
Yes.
focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm an air sign, so that's very easy for me to do. So these are moments where, where I've had to humbly let go of things
Hmm.
because, they say when one door closes, the other one's open. So I haven't made the actual announcement yet because I don't even know if I'm going to do that because I have a regular class that I do that people expect me to do until November. And I'm like, oh, snap, they're not going to be happy. But hopefully that buildup of not seeing me for 3 to 6 months, then all of a sudden I come back out. They're like, oh my gosh, Nikki's back. You know what I mean? But I do have
Yeah.
things that I've already committed to. Like if people ask me to be a part of fundraisers, I'm going to be, I'm already down for certain events. So I'm going to
For
obviously
sure.
be there because, I've already committed and I would do it anyway. Because I even have a lady that I'm working with in Chandler, which is in the Phoenix area, and I'm going to be with her every 2 months doing a humongous sound bath in this gorgeous home near a pool. Um,
Yeah.
and then I'm at a yoga festival in the Prescott area in July, which is, next month. So I'm excited for that. But I'm just going to kind of take it a step back and really just focus on, doing more like YouTube videos and more Instagram posts just about what it is because my
Yeah.
teacher, Katie, created this years ago and has brought it to the rest of us to then share and allow others to experience this work as well, whether if they're in person with me here locally and or really anywhere in the world, because everything can be done virtually through Zoom. It's like as if you're like right in front of me, even though
Yeah.
you're on Zoom. Like it's just energy and it's the intention is how it happens and why it's
Yeah.
possible.
Definitely. Definitely. Oh my goodness. This is so exciting, Nikki. It is, I'm seeing so many shifts happening everywhere. People are coming into
Yes.
their their gifts. People are waking up. People are realizing their power and their sovereignty and like stepping into greater possibilities for
Yes.
themselves. So I'm so excited for you that you're
Thank
stepping into
you.
your power. This is so exciting.
Yes, like I said, it's a little scary. I just talked to a friend yesterday who does breath work and yoga, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm stepping back a little bit too
Yeah.
from what I'm doing, and I'm creating something else is going to come up for me." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like what is happening on the planet? Like things are really truly shifting for a lot of us."
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I love hearing that. And I never really feel like I'm alone, but sometimes, at moments I do feel like that because I do spend a lot of time alone to recharge. I do that in nature because I'm around, people all the time. But it is beautiful and it's blissful. And I know that there's a lot of challenges in the world and in the planet. But honestly, it's like I tell people all the time, like I'm staying in my lane, you've got your lane, bless your heart, and you can educate me in all the chaos in the world. And then I'm going to come back here to my lane because I truly feel that all of us have a life purpose. I feel like we almost sign a contract like before we come here,
Oh,
like
yeah.
this is what you're doing, like
Hmm.
this is why you're coming here. And mind you, I feel like a lot of us, we have many different life purposes that ultimately lead us to like a soulmate kind of like to the ultimate, prize or desire. And I just keep asking the creator, who, by the way, I call God, and some may call spirit or universe, but I'm just going to
Hmm.
get right to the point of my language. To me, God is within all of us. So where
Yeah.
I've shown where my prayers are, where I connect to the creator is if you know where your heart chakra is in the center of your chest, right under that is where I have been shown where mine is and where I believe that resides in each person on this planet. And and so I am grateful that I can just stay in my lane and stay in my heart, right? Because I feel like what I keep being told why I was brought here is to uh, help heal people's hearts and have them just love themselves unconditionally, allow that grace and that forgiveness to come in and through.
Mm-hmm.
and to help rise them up and lift them up if they feel like insecure or not worthy or self-confident. Because, girl, I have had all of those and maybe at times still do and still working it out. But I'm really
Right.
here to empower. And what comes to mind is women, but also men, because I feel like I'm very masculine and feminine. I'm masculine because I am the provider, I'm the single mom, I've got to be the tough love, you know what I mean? But when I am in my work and I am on with someone privately or in a group, that feminine just like comes in. I
Oh
just
yeah.
did this powerful session with someone that was done on me. It was a type of breath work. And mind you, there are many different types, but this one, like, literally rocked my world. And it's so funny because I had to purchase a crown. I almost put it on today. I should go get it because I am owning, like, I am a queen. And
Yes.
I have had healing work done on me. I have gone through a soul prayers where the healing was done on myself. And I literally see this crown, right? And sometimes it's tilted and it falls off. So I'm like, oh, there's the crown. I got to put it back on. So, like, literally, I had to buy a crown and I have to, like, look at myself in the mirror every day to remind myself who I am. And I say,
Yeah.
queen, because, it's fun and it's funny. And, sometimes I tell my son, yes, queen. Like, instead of saying, yes, mom, or yes, ma'am, just for fun. But it's good for me. It's what my soul needs. It's what my ego needs or whatever. I don't even know if it's that, but
Right. Yeah.
but that's just where I am. So, but it's fun and I'm enjoying the ride. I have so much more to discover and learn about people and myself. You guys, the learning never ends. Never. I don't care what age you are, how, like, fantastic you think you are. You're just chipping away again. It never ends until it's our time, to leave this planet, in our human
Right.
physical bodies. And
Right.
so, I just, I do my best to stay, present. One thing I've learned is one of the most powerful words in the universe, other than love, but gratitude. No matter what state of mind you're in, no matter what life stuff you're going through, like, when you can switch to gratitude, like, hey, I got this clean water, or I have this, like, carton of strawberries, like, it instantly shifts you and it can help you
Yep.
get through any, like, trauma or turmoil, and it's a powerful, not only word, but, to really believe it is also pretty monumental.
Yes, absolutely. Gratitude is one of my keys. I actually have a tattoo on my arm that says gratitude. I don't know if I can show you, but
Oh, woohoo!
yeah,
I love it.
this was during the pandemic. I was realizing I was getting
Oh,
really low because I was spending a lot of time alone. And I
yes.
realized that I was losing my practices, and gratitude is one of my biggest ones. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to a tattoo artist with that ridiculous amount of money the government was sending me because I wasn't working.
Oh, yes,
And said, hey, I could get some ink. So
yes.
I went to an artist and said, I'd like to do a really ornate, like, design on my arm. And he
I
did
love it.
okay. I think it's beautiful. It worked out,
Yes,
but gratitude is one of my keys for keeping my bliss and my joy. And
absolutely.
I remind people all the time, and I'll even take people through a gratitude practice of, what are you grateful for right now, and what else, and what else, and what else, and what else, and
Yeah.
what else.
Stack.
And then after 10 things you're grateful for, you're no longer sad. It's like the
Yes,
gratitude just turns it around. So yes,
absolutely.
yes, gratitude is
It is.
amazing. It
You like
does make an
you
impact.
it's like you say it and but it's all about feeling it, right?
Yeah.
It's the combination
Mhm.
of all the senses and really
Yeah.
like believing it. And it's a great practice to do right when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed at night. Um, so yes, I pretty much end most of all of this group sound meditation sessions with gratitude. I always think in my head that I need to switch it up and all that, but I keep going back to gratitude every
It's
single time.
it's like a
I
basic
just can't
thing,
help
and I
it.
think, you know, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a
Yes,
gift not only to ourselves when we can be in gratitude, but it's a gift to other people when we can express gratitude to others, or express gratitude as a key that you can use gratitude for this thing. You know,
absolutely.
it's a gift. And I mean, and I really do think like gratitude, compassion, forgiveness, these basic concepts of
Yeah,
how we move through life and how we do it
absolutely.
gracefully is really one of our biggest skills as human beings on this planet, is being able to use these skills, the gratitude, the
Absolutely.
forgiveness, the compassion,
Yes,
and applying those things to yourself. Self gratitude, self love,
absolutely.
self compassion, self
Definitely.
forgiveness.
And that's why I love soul prayers so much, because when I am receiving in a group of people um, with a specific theme, there are many that I have done because I learned this work last year, like I said, in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, the I've done many of them, but the ones that have really shifted me and opened me up and changed me forever, we just did a forgiveness one not that long ago, maybe even last month. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the first or the second one, like my favorite ones that really, there's something that just blasted open in me. But really, the
Mm-hmm.
one that, because, a lot of us, especially women and mothers, um, we give a lot, especially being an empath or like a healer. We just give, right? And so the one that really shifted everything in my life that I was having blockages in and challenges with for like years, something as simple as finding a place to live and holding on to this 20-year-old vehicle that I just love, that I was like, no, it holds all my instruments in it. Why would I get rid of it? Like, I don't want a car payment. And being able to finally let it go and then bring in a newer vehicle, right? That I don't have a payment on still, but I'm just like, oh, wow, like a huge perspective shift, was a soul prayers called just receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in group for the 2 hour call, and the creator comes in and just opens you up, all of your hundreds of thousands of aura layers, brings all of those layers slowly and gently back into wholeness and back into love, back into the creator's heart. Oh my gosh, girl, like that seriously was like, that was it for me. That was like a firework woohoo moment, because all of a sudden things really opened up for me. And
Yes.
everyone has a different, firework moment. But between that and the forgiveness, I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty spectacular. And because I'm able to do this work on myself, but also share it, like I said, in person, and just launched being able to do the soul prayers with a group. So it's like once a month. It's usually from 6 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. And I do a soul prayers to find out what the theme is. So I don't ask or I don't like decide, but I connect with the creator to be like, okay, what does everybody need at this time? And then, of course, it's recorded. And it's just a beautiful experience, because what one person needs, like, and everyone else, everybody kind of receives what everybody else is getting, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
It's like we're all one light, one soul, one spirit, one breath. And
Mm-hmm.
you need career, you need really what relationship, this, the other, everyone gets. It's so beautiful to like feel that and see that. And what it is it's energy work. And I am just the channel, right? So I am the channel to receive collectively or in a private session messages that the creator wants you to receive at that time. The creator loves us all and knows exactly what we need at that moment, and will never give you more than what you need at that moment. And so that's what's so
Definitely.
beautiful about it. And when you are open up, it's just, he pours in the love, the healing, the abundance, all of the gifts, all the miracles. It is such a lovely experience to hold space for. It is not like Reiki at all. You don't call for protection. You don't ask your angels and your guides to come in. The creator has got you. You are a passenger. The creator is in the driver's seat of a vehicle. And it is such a divine experience. And it's so slow beginning and start. And then it's usually like after the first like 30 minutes, if you're sensitive, even just a little bit, you'll start to feel or sense the shift within.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that hour mark, it just gets even more, just like in depth. And so, depending on the session, it can go from like an hour and 15 to 2 hours just with the energy work portion. Usually at the end is when, myself or even clients will have their own vision of color, or they will hear something or sense something. Usually, again, at the middle to end of the energy session. So we talk about the intention at the beginning. I am so grateful and so blessed. And sometimes I just literally cry. How grateful that I am that I have such a brilliant brain that I can remember everything from the beginning to the end. It's like a slow movie screen. And then I share that with the clients at the end of the session, or sometimes when I'm like, think that they need to hear it in the moment, then I'll say it in the moment, but then I share everything at the end. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes, the creator comes in and I'll see or hear or feel a lot. And sometimes it's just silent. And then that's when I know it's just supposed to be safe and special for that individual at that time. So I don't, I'm not trying to like look, feel, and see into the experience. It just is who I am and the gifts that
Yeah.
God has given me and that I've worked hard to develop and
For
also
sure.
to
Yeah.
accept, because really what soul prayers is acceptance. It's acceptance of God's will, and just allowing everything to come back again layer by layer into the heart.
Mm.
So
So
it
beautiful.
is,
So
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
love what you're up to in the world, Nikki. It's so, so, so,
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yes.
I, I
And
love
just
it. I
the
think that so many people need this,
yeah.
that it's just amazing that you've built this beautiful thing, and now you're in this basically this new vehicle to move you even
Yeah.
bigger, to help
Yes.
even more people. So that is just absolutely fantastic. It's just
Well, thank you. And it's so funny because everyone always talks about like the niche, like, and for sound, I could never like, no, sound is for everybody, right? And even the soul prayers is for everybody. But just the other day, I was thinking, I really love playing instruments for people that are awakened or that are a healer or a star seed, or or an empath.
yeah,
It's obviously a different experience. I love playing for everyone, but there's just certain moments where it's just like, oh, this is just so yummy and just yummy, and you just don't want to like stop, right? But
yeah,
how cool would it be? And I was just saying this to myself the other day, like to really like invite those empaths and star seeds and light workers and earth angels who are already awakened or already on their journey, just to remind them of the creator within, right? Because sometimes we can get like not clear about our direction, or we're in our head too much, or we're attracting maybe the wrong or different like situations that maybe aren't the best for us. And just to really strengthen that prayers within them right at the beginning of their journey, or wherever again they are at, so they don't need the sage and the Palo Santo for protection. They just like where I am now. I don't need that. I am protected. I am one
yes.
with God. I was working with, by the way, the archangels for 20 years, you guys, like 20 years. Archangel Michael was my man. He still is. I love him. But and whoever my clients worked with, but you know what? When it came to my own advice and my own guidance, I would always question that. Is that real, or is that the ego, or like, what is that?
Hmm.
You know? But now that I've done this work, I don't question it ever. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that is the truth, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
is
And
the
that's our
only,
wisdom
yes,
as
that
we
is the
become.
only difference in
Yes.
working with the archangels forever and always questioning, is that right? Is that right? And still searching outside of myself a little bit, even though
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
reminded, look within, right? And so now I don't purposely look outside of myself for answers or
Yeah.
validation or any of that. I look within.
Yeah.
And so
I think
again,
that's a beautiful place to end this conversation. Look
it has been
within.
a journey. Yes. Look within, everybody. The answers are
Yes.
there.
Yes.
And I
Oh,
literally
that's
just saw
beautiful.
like this
Okay.
lock, this big lock, and you just put that key in there and turn the lock and
And there's
it
light.
can,
Oh,
yes.
look, you've got light within you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I just really feel like excited. That's why I really have to work with like, just leaving my heart open. I've always felt, I love working with people in my town, but I truly feel like I'm meant to work with people from all over the world, whether if you're in Texas or
Yes.
Australia or anywhere, because um, the soul family, my people are there, they're waiting for me. So I'm so grateful that I can be on this type of platform. I've been, asking the creator, please put me in front of like podcasters and, because obviously this is a great way to share it a little bit. I came up with an idea again through my brilliant friend the other day. And that is just kind of like, um, oh, and I had the name and it left, but like a Tupperware party that they used to have, or what is the other party? Pampered Chef, like a Pampered
Uh-huh.
Chef party, and you host a party for your friends or family. Um, we've come up with this idea to basically have the same thing, but for soul prayers. So allowing an individual to host a soul prayers party with their friends or family, and whether if they're local or not, again, we would just all get on Zoom, right? And then they would get a special, gift for that, and really go with it in that regard. So I'm kind of throwing that out there because I think it's a fantastic idea, but also
That
something
is
I'm
a fantastic
excited
idea.
to
Yeah.
share, to host a soul prayers party. So yes, so I'm excited that I can present it with, ladies and gentlemen, with that. And you know continue to, I'm always open to do private sessions with it. And also, like I said, every month I am led to do a Zoom 2 hour soul prayers. And so that way as well, it can be more cost efficient for those that might not be able to be a part of like a private session.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So how can people reach you, Nikki?
So telepathy? No, I'm kidding. But true. Like telepathy? No. But really, I have a website. So all of my services that I have, that a lot of them as well that I have not mentioned, are on my website. It gives you a little bit of detail about soul prayers and the sound work, but it's nikishields.com. So it's NIKISHIELDS.com is the main way to get a hold of me. As well, I will give you an email, the number 4 elements of sound at gmail.com. So again, number 4, ELEMENTSOFSOUND at gmail.com.
Thank
And you
you.
can email me for any questions, any comments, anything that you have, any curiosity that you feel like you just want to ask me. I'm happy to connect with you. What's great about this podcast is I was praying about it, and anyone who desires to have like a private session with me, I'm offering any of your viewers a 40% discount off of my original service value. That is for a 3 hour soul prayers session that we would do together over the platform of Zoom.
beautiful. Oh, thank you for that. That's amazing. I love the idea too of bringing people together to do smaller parties. I think that's such a
Yes.
cool idea. And
Yes.
helping us heal our family members. I mean, come on, that's
Oh
so
my
amazing,
gosh.
so needed.
So I will share that
Oh,
with you that in a lot of my session work, like privately, but it might be a theme that a lot of like deep physical healing occurs, but also a lot of ancestral like is
mhm.
happening.
Yeah.
Um, so whether if their parents have been, if they are still on this earth or if they've passed, we're talking some very deep stuff is also being transmuted. It's not like releasing and letting it go, right? The creator is just bringing it, taking it like as if in its hand, bringing it back into wholeness and love. It's so beautiful. It's not like cord cutting or vanishing it away or getting angry about it. It's just so it's like a dance. It's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Oh
and
my
so I
goodness. I cannot
also
wait to share this with the world with me.
thank you. I also have a YouTube channel. Please work with me because I am working on building that YouTube channel. So I'll be doing a lot of like tips and tools and just sharing more about just life stuff, I guess. I have a lot of wisdom to share. So I'll be on YouTube hopefully more often and other platforms as well. And then if you're, local or if you want to get away for a weekend, you just Google Niki Shields and my website, pops up. Um, yes, I love meeting new people. I love inspiring people and really just being there for them any way that I can. And I truly do love people. I do. I'm not one of those people that are like, I don't like people. I actually really love people. I really love kids,
Yeah.
but I really love people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I love our planet. And I thanked God the other day just for the portrait of the sunsets and the rainbows and just the beautiful, like the even the cactuses, right? And we truly live on a beautiful planet. And
Yes.
and I'm grateful that I'm here. And I love Mother Earth and the animals and the trees. And I'm just grateful to be alive during this time, even though it's very chaotic. I'm choosing to see it with love
Yes. And gratitude all the
and
time.
gratitude. Yes.
Definitely. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Nikki.
my pleasure. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.